In a recent development update from 343 Studios regarding Halo Infinite, it was unfortunately revealed that two key series staples will not be available at launch. Campaign co-op is expected to be available 3 months after launch, and Forge mode, with an even greater delay, is estimated to arrive 6 months post-release. So, not great news if you're looking forward to Halo Infinite. And my reaction has been, well, sort of progressing, like actively changing the more I think about this whole situation. It went from annoyance to confusion to acceptance and then like curiosity. So right now I'm feeling quite chilled on it, but initially I was a little bit frustrated. I don't look forward to too many games these days. I just play them as they come through, but I have been looking forward to Halo Infinite really since last year. I was always planning on getting a Series X, and I thought that Halo Infinite would be the staple of that console. It would really be the linchpin of my gaming. Like, I'd be jumping in, playing a few matches, and there's a little bit of nostalgia there. Like, I haven't been playing Halo for a long time, but in the days of particularly Halo Reach, that's when I was really into the series. Like, I hear a lot of people say Halo 3, and I did like Halo 3, but Halo Reach was what really hooked me. And I really want to relive those days, and it looks like 343 are trying to remake like Bungie's Halo, so I am looking forward to it. But one thing I have to say, especially from this recent revelation, is that I do not have much confidence in 343. And the funny thing is, the two modes that have been announced to be delayed, so again, that's campaign co-op, so not the whole campaign, just the co-op mode, and Forge mode, I don't really care too much about those modes being delayed, just because for me personally, they wouldn't be my go-to. I'm more about core campaign and multiplayer. So even though I don't personally care too much about those, it does make you question, like, what's going on at 343? How have they managed to get to this position where they have already delayed the game by an entire year, and yet they are still pushing things back? And you wonder, are they up to this? Like, what are those modes that I do care about, core multiplayer and campaign? What are they going to be like? Are they going to be lackluster? Are they going to be buggy? Are they going to be underwhelming? Is it going to be up to the Halo standard? And you really want them to be. I really hope that they manage to surprise us with the quality of the campaign and the multiplayer, but I'm just not sure at this point, because you have to look at the patterns of development that's going on, and you do question, like, they use words like, you know, we want to get it to a certain quality, but quality it's a moving target. Like, one person's idea of quality is not the same as another's. So while they're saying we want to get it to a certain quality, that quality might just be minimum viable product. Like, what can we get away with putting out there? Now, despite what I just said, when it comes to the multiplayer side specifically, I do have a little bit of faith there. And that's simply because we did have the technical test, and the gameplay did feel quite robust there. It did feel like Halo, felt similar to Reach, and I did enjoy it at the end of the day. However, it was, at least on this first technical test, quite limited in scope. So it was showing, 343 have nailed the fundamentals of the experience, and yep, that's definitely something to applaud them for. However, I do need to see more ambitious modes and maps before I say, yep, they've nailed it and made, the best Halo in years. What they showed us was quite concise, and it was against bots until the very last minute. I didn't do any of the PvP because it was such a small window. But yeah, I'm a little bit optimistic about the multiplayer, but I think it would be very premature at this stage to assume it's going to be great because of what we saw in that test. It would, there just wasn't enough at the end of the day, and it was against bots. Like, as much as they have given us reasons for it, and that's fine, their reasons were perfectly valid for why they used bots, but in terms of evaluating the experience, it does hamper the authenticity of what to expect. But on the campaign side, that's where they still need to prove to me that they've got it right, because I haven't seen anything of the campaign yet that has filled me with confidence. Because what they need to show me is something similar to what we saw last year, but with the updated visuals. Because we've seen some screenshots, but as we all know, screenshots can be manipulated and enhanced beyond what the game can do. But also, even if they do manipulate them, developers can simply say, it was taken from a work in progress, which is the ultimate get out. So the screenshots were there, but I don't take too much stock in that. And also, just something someone said to me recently was, you can take like the biggest mess of a game, but look at the promotional material and you will find a good screenshot. So yeah, even if it's sort of presented as in-game with the HUD on top of it, doesn't mean anything. There was something that had me feeling a little bit more optimistic, which was this slow pan over of the Halo ring. And that did look pretty good. I didn't have any complaints there, but still, what I want to see is the equivalent of what we saw in the first campaign trailer, just with hopefully the improvements that we expect after a year of development, so it looks a little bit less flat, at the end of the day. So I think really this is what it's coming down to. So despite the story primarily being about the delay of co-op and Forge, funnily enough, my core takeaway, my core reaction is, do I have faith in Free for Free to deliver a good campaign? Because for me, that is an important factor of the Halo experience, and I don't know if I do. And I only slightly trust them to do a decent job on the multiplayer. A part of me thinks they're going to do good just because it's very much in their interest, because the Battle Pass is likely to be most relevant to competitive multiplayer, and that's where they're going to long term make most of the money. So for them, it's most important to them to get it right, because if they don't, they won't make all the money from the Battle Pass. So even if I don't trust them in an altruistic sense, I can trust their desire to want to make long term money. But yeah, that's kind of my takeaway. And also just I've heard some kind of fair negative reactions, like this is obviously Halo being released in what is quite literally an unfinished state, and what some people have mentioned doing is just delay the whole thing, like literally delay the entirety of Halo Infinite until everything is done. And I do see some merit with this, because if you release everything together and it's refined and the whole experience is there, then that initial impression is going to be great, and everyone's going to be saying worth the wait, and they're going to be slapping Free for Free on the back and saying, good job guys, you made the hard decision, but we're here now and everything's here, and it's great. Like the win they would make from doing that from a PR standpoint would be enormous. However, it does mean that even though the multiplayer might already be done and the campaign might already be done, that they're being left on the table because Forge mode and co-op aren't done yet, and maybe that is a waste when we could actually be playing it. So I think them releasing it in a modular way as they're doing, yeah, I'm okay with that personally, but only if those modes are polished, because otherwise they are literally just taking the live service mechanic, which can be done correctly. We have seen situations it's being done right, but they're taking that mechanic and they are simply using it as an excuse to release an unfinished, buggy experience. And that, if they do that, then, especially after the Master Chief Collection, and Halo 5 as well to some extent, you wouldn't be able to trust them ever again. Like I'm actually kind of surprised some people trust them already after what happened with those previous games. Like, I know they did improve the Master Chief Collection over time, but over years and years, and for some of those years they were saying almost nothing, as they sort of borderline abandoned it, so some people do have short memories on this stuff. Free for Free are not a studio that I would have implicit faith in. I will be very skeptical of them, and I wish, if I'm honest, another studio was handling the Halo franchise, because I love the Halo franchise, but I don't love Free for Free. Like, even when I was watching the development update, I don't know if anyone else gets this vibe, but they feel very artificial when they're talking about the game. Everything feels like it was heavily scripted to seem as affable and personable as possible, but in the way that a politician does it, where they are trying so hard to appear relatable and your friend and transparent that it actually conveys the absolute opposite. And they keep saying things like, we want to be open, we want to be honest, but the thing is, just saying you're being honest and open does not prove that you are in any way honest and open. The only way to do that is to actually fulfill on your commitments. And it's a little bit disheartening, unfortunately, to read some comments from people reacting to this. Like, I'm not saying we should crucify Free for Free, but whenever I see someone say, well, at least they're being honest, well, at least they're being open, I'm like, well, give it a chance, guys, because they've said they're being honest, but someone saying, I'm here to be honest with you, just because I want to be honest, or just because I want to be open with the the gamers doesn't mean they are. It just means they want to convey that so that they can get your trust. You know, don't believe someone just because they say they're going to be honest. Actually look at what they've done and judge them as, is this someone who's trustworthy? And quite frankly, Free for Free are not trustworthy. Like, and the fact they keep saying trust me, it weirdly has the opposite effect on me, on making me want to trust them less. So yeah, it's just weird how this is all kind of bubbled up, but I do not like them as a studio at all. They seem very artificial, very calculated in how they convey messages. So yeah, these have been my thoughts. Let me know what you think below. I think the big question here is, you know, first of all, just, you know, your reaction, but also the big question in my mind here is, should Free for Free delay the entire game so it all comes out at once and they get that massive pat on the back from the community saying, well done, you made the actual hard choice, and you released it all at once? Or are they going to just give us bits at a time so they can start making money as soon as possible off the Battle Pass? Just to give you my most cynical view of why they might be thinking of doing that. As always, people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.